Hey all, let's talk about this picture here. Let's talk about it in very fine detail. Let's look at the style that the artist used to paint with, because this looks like a painting to me, as opposed to like a just a drawing. It looks like it's painted, okay? And look at the background. It's up in the sky, in the clouds. If you look at the clouds and the sky, all right, I'm gonna presume that's all painted by one artist. The the color details of the sky, the way you look at the top of the screen and it's darker and the bottom of the screen is lighter and the little shades of gray and darker blues within. It's a very detailed color of the sky. Very detailed. For background, and the clouds are very styled. They're like waved clouds, like spirally waved, very curvy, wispy. Well, I don't know, very wave like, spiral like, curvy clouds. Very stylish. And you look at the two figures here, right? You've got one on top and one on bottom. And the one on the top, when you look at the outfit, that the one on top looks like a blonde haired human being. You can't really tell if it's a male or female, but maybe you can't really tell if it's male or female, right? You would look maybe at first to say, oh, it looks like a girl. But, you know, it, in all of these angel stories, they're like guys, right? Like Archangel Michael, right? And I would like to just say, there's a lot of these. It's like Michael and I don't know, the devil or Satan, right? Or like George and the dragon. You always see like a human who's like about to slay a dragon or a whatever you want to call. So, um, back to the actual painting. I presume this is a little bit older than 2024. I presume maybe, I don't know, from the medieval ages or so. I have no idea. I don't even trust the calendar anymore in terms of what year it actually is. So much finagling going on behind the scenes. But look at her, look at, I almost said her dress. It looks a lot like a girl, even though we're always told that the figure involved in this is male. Like they said, like Michael or George. But then again, they say angels are kind of androgynous anyways, so we're gonna presume it's an angel. But we'll get into that too. But one thing for sure is that I almost called it a dress. Outfit, the clothing that this figure is clothed in is styled the way the clouds are. So like you look, I'm gonna zoom in. Look at the wavy. See the way that it's just like the clouds. It's very curly and spirally. So I'm gonna say that that outfit, along with the blonde-haired figure and the sky and the clouds, are all painted by the same artist. If you look at the hair too, see it, the little spiraling in the hair there, very curvy. I'm gonna say all painted by the same artist. Now, you look at the lower figure, the olive colored figure. Very curvy as well. In a similar detail with the colors. Like, there's actually a lot of colors in there. There's like, almost like golden to olive to dark green, maybe a little bit of gray. The wings are curvy. Almost looks like a beak as opposed to a snout on the face. That tongue. I just want to draw attention to the color of the tongue versus the color on the red of the cross. Are they exactly the same or slightly different colors? I mean, I don't know. They look very similar. But maybe the tongue is more pink. I don't know. This will be important later in the conversation. Now, I would like to say one thing I've always observed is these tiny, dinky little wings. Look at these dinky little wings on that dragon figure guy. You can't fly with them dinky little wings. But it's a fact that when the birds molt and they are without their feathers, that's about the size of their wings. Like the feathers, like if this dragon here had feathers on the wings, the wings would be much bigger. And you'd be like, yeah, I could definitely fly with that. Like that's just the way wings are. Like the actual flesh and bone is much smaller than the wing. The wing is the feathers make the wing much bigger, usable. So okay, you got this serpent-like thing flying around with molted wings. Okay. Now, am I the only one who looks at this or looks at any of those pictures and thinks that it's slightly erotic? Slightly erotic. I mean, I realize uh that's not the story we're being told. But does this picture look a little kinky to you? Or is it just me? Like, now this is some olden back in the day artist who, by the way, is a fairly skilled painter for this little painting here in terms of color use and style. Um, here's what I want to get into some possible discrepancies. You look at the overall curviness of this artist's style and the attention to color varieties and shades and highlights. Now look at the shield and the sword and the pitchfork. Because of course the devil has to have a pitchfork, right? All right. The first thing I want to suggest is like this is a battle for the death supposedly, right? Well, if you were to hold a pitchfork, and first of all, he's not even holding it. Like you look at the right hand and the fingers are splayed out. And the left, I mean, I believe that's fingers splayed out. It's kind of a little bit hard to see. Like maybe they've been rubbed off or something. I don't even know. But it doesn't really look fisted. And okay, so you would have it in one hand only, maybe, and the other hand is clear. The left hand is clearly open and not grasping the pitchfork. But if you were to fight someone with a pitchfork, I mean, is that how you would hold it? Or would you like have it more pointed toward the person coming at you with the sword and the shield? You know, pointing the pitchfork at them? I mean, okay. And look at the shield. Like, the shield is more or less flat in color. Like, you would think, like, there's no highlight to it. There's no highlighting and there's no real dark tones. It's slightly darker around the edge, and it's like a solid, almost a golden color, and um, a non-outlined cross, red cross. I would say maybe the cross is more red than the pink tongue. I don't know. Are you beginning to see why this might matter on the shield there and stuff? Like, there's not really a lot of highlighting going on. You would think if it was a golden, shield, it would have some highlights in it and maybe some darks. Doesn't seem to. And then look at this sword, right? I mean, again, if you're going for the death blow with the sword, would you use a slashing technique like this kind of looks like it would be about to happen? Or would you use more of a thrusting with the point out to thrust through someone? It just doesn't seem like this doesn't seem like a serious fight. Um and then of course, look at the wings on the angel, right? On the blonde figure. Those are some very non-anatomical wings. Like, look how straight they are. Those angles don't look right. Whereas the wings on the dragon are curvy like the rest of the style. Why are the wings so straight? Why are the wings so straight and angular on the angel? It doesn't even go with the style. And again, they're very plain. It's like white wings with some dark outlining on the feathers. Just doesn't seem like the attention to detail that the rest of the image has. And the sword, yep, you got like a golden, flat golden color, no highlighting on the handle, and then you have a blade of like a light silverish color and with a dark shaded side. But there's really not a whole lot of detail with colors there. Um, like you can even see in the dress has like these slightly, I don't know if they're slightly yellowish, like a reflection of a sun source. The way the clouds have slightly yellowish on top and more gray on the bottom. Like the wings seem weird, and like the angel has two wings, but the dragon looking guy only has one. So, I mean, like, all right. So, I don't know. It just it doesn't make sense. Like, totally, it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Like, is it possible that the pitchfork and angel wings and the sword and the shield maybe were like added in. I mean, is it possible? Like some of this stuff, like from what I understand, angels' wings weren't like really a thing in artwork until after a certain time, and they started drawing wings on all the painting and drawing wings on all the angels. Like, I mean, I don't. It's just a question. Some questions. But what would be like the implications if the weapons were added afterward and the wings on the angel were added afterward? Like those just don't look like wings. Like this artist seems like why would these angular wings that don't look like wings realistically at all be painted into this onto this angel when the rest of it's all very like organic and curvy and detailed, like it doesn't make sense. Again, like the dragon guy isn't even holding the pitchfork, it's just there. And like that shield doesn't glisten and shine the way it should. What is it covering? Is she falling from the sky with her boobs out or something? The dragon's about to catch her? Like, I don't know. I just have questions about some of the artwork. So, like, say, you know, I feel like some of our archaeology gets defaced. I could be wrong about this whole thing, but this is just like one example of like when you really analyze like an artwork, like you really like scrutinize it. I don't know, like this just doesn't look like it doesn't totally make sense. This painting doesn't totally make sense. I don't know. Take care, y'all.